Will Oklahoma bounce back in 2023? Will they make it to the Big 12 championship game, or maybe a New Year's Six bowl, or maybe even beyond that? We're going to look at some of the projections here, and then I'll give you my projection for Oklahoma in 2023. So we'll start with 24/7 Sports. They've got Oklahoma going to the Alamo Bowl to face Washington, and this would be the best Big 12 bowl game outside of the New Year's Six. So Texas is there. They've got them in the New Year's Six. Oklahoma, that next highest ranked Big 12 team, or that next selection. So Oklahoma, Washington. Boy, this will be a tough matchup, though. Washington, a really good team this year, an explosive offense. Could definitely give that Oklahoma defense some trouble. I would expect a shootout if these two teams did meet, and we'll just have to see if Oklahoma could outscore them. But that would be, again, a tough task there in the Alamo Bowl, and that's what 24/7 Sports is projecting. And so is CBS Sports. They've got the same projection, Oklahoma, Washington in the Alamo Bowl. And again, that would be a pretty tough matchup for Oklahoma. And then if you go to Athlon also has them in the Alamo Bowl, but they've got them playing UCLA. So they've got Oklahoma versus UCLA in the Alamo Bowl. So all three projections here in the same bowl game. I think this will be a better matchup for Oklahoma. I think they'd have a real good shot. Might actually be favored in this game against UCLA. Probably would be. And so a more favorable matchup here. I think Washington would be the tougher matchup for sure. But all three projections here putting Oklahoma in the Alamo Bowl against the Pac-12 team, Big 12 versus Pac-12, and UCLA or Washington, the two selections. I do not have them in the Alamo Bowl. I will go show you mine in just a second. So this is the schedule, and this is what we're going to do each week here on the channel. We're going to look at some of the bowl projections, and I'm going to give you my projection on the rest of the season. So we'll fill in the games after they've been played. Obviously, no games have been played yet, and then I will project the rest of the season, and it'll change. Once we see these teams and find out just how good they are, we'll obviously be making some changes to these projections, and we'll see how it changes as the season goes along. But right now, I've got Oklahoma at 9-3, so I've got them losing 3 games. I do believe Texas still is the better team. It's a rivalry. You never know. And then they play a good UCF team right after that, and I think Kansas actually gets them. I know a lot of people, especially Oklahoma fans, not happy with this prediction, thinking there's no way it's going to happen. But I just really think this Kansas team is going to be good this year, and so I could see them beating Oklahoma. It's also right before Bedlam, right after, I think, a very tough win over UCF. I think they'll win that game, but I think it'll be a very close game. And so I could see them tripping up against Kansas. And then Bedlam, I just feel like the motivation factor on the side of Oklahoma State, with Oklahoma leaving the conference, I'm projecting them to lose that game as well. You've also got to go out west to face BYU. Also got a very tough TCU game there at the end of the season. So I think they start strong, 5-0, but I'm going to give them 3 losses. I think really this team should probably be more like 10-2, but with some of the issues they had last year, it's hard to know if they're going to correct all that in the preseason. So once we see Oklahoma play a few games, perhaps I'll bump them back up to 10-2. But right now, I'm going to be conservative and go with 9-3. So where does that put them? I've actually got them going to the Texas Bowl. I've got them playing Texas A&M in the Texas Bowl, not quite the Alamo Bowl. I've got Kansas State actually going to the Alamo Bowl. I have them losing in the Big 12 championship game. And so this is where I've got Oklahoma. If they live up to their potential, Alamo Bowl is probably where they wind up. Again, if they go 10-2, that's probably, and they could go to a New Year's Six bowl potentially if they're 10-2. Maybe 10-3 if they lose the Big 12 championship. If they can win the Big 12, which I think is possible, then obviously you're going to get to at least the New Year's Six. But for me, I've got them playing Texas A&M in the Texas Bowl in a preview of what will be an SEC matchup. That one should be pretty fun. So Sooners versus the Aggies in the Texas Bowl. Which of these projections do you think is the most accurate? Or maybe you think they're going somewhere else? Let me know what you think about Oklahoma down in the comments below.